Hello to all my online students starting this first week of class. Um, for those of you who followed my first announcement and are aware that I just took a train up here to Portland for working at my other job. I'm staying at my cousin's right now. And so I've just been kind of acclimating, for this little work trip. But I just wanted to let you all know that I'm aware, again, that the first week can be a little intimidating, or you're just kind of initially trying to figure out what to do. So, first of all, make sure if you have not watched the first video, I want you to watch it just to kind of get an idea of I cover some aspects of this class in that one. And then make sure you look and read carefully the announcement that I just posted prior to this, showing examples of notes and what the Sunday essays should look like. So I thought I would just mention a few other things to highlight, because I know how it is. Sometimes if you read a long list of things or looking at the announcement with all those, with my examples, it can be a little overwhelming at times. So look, there's several things that you need to just, that I'm going to point out again. One, and this is something mentioned even to be talked about in your first discussion, I don't use the course calendar. I have a reason that is to your advantage, which I'm not going to go into details right now. But do not rely on the course calendar, okay? And so you're just going to need to know this week has your discussion due on Thursday, and then the essays are due on Sunday. There will never be different days than Thursdays or Sundays, and many weeks will probably just have work due on Sunday by midnight, okay? So it's very consistent, and I try to give you guys the best set of options possible in terms of spacing and just enough time to do the work. For some reason, if you feel like you cannot get your work in on time, well, keep in mind that you can turn up your work late up to 8 hours without asking for any, to be allowed to turn in the late work. I want to make this very clear. Please listen. If it's 8 hours after the work is due, you have to write to me to then ask if you have permission to turn in late work. If you don't do that, I automatically give you a 0. You don't get to automatically turn in late work, okay? You have to communicate with me at that point. Now, you don't need to grovel or, go into long details onto why the late work is late. I don't judge that. I was a student too. So it could just be a bad week. It could be that somebody broke up with you, or you just got rejected, or just, I don't know, you ate some wrong food. Something happens, no judgment, but I want to help make sure that you're staying on course, and I don't want you to get too, I don't want you to be uncomfortable with the fact that you had to turn in late work, but I don't want to make it so comfortable that that you're not looking at deadlines as an issue, okay? So if you're 8 hours after the late time, then you're going to need to communicate with me. And that means you just need to say, hey, Mr. Pollock, I was not able to turn in the work. Can I turn it in? And what do you think I'm going to say? Okay? But that ritual has to take place, period. Okay? So please keep that in mind. And in terms of the papers and AI, let me just make something very clear on this as well. Look, writing essays is a challenge. And I'm aware of that. And especially, even if it's just 1 page each, even if it's just 2 pages a week, some of you, this is going to feel really overwhelming. What I want you to know is that I am not grading very hard on this, but there is really only one thing I'm looking for on these papers, as I mentioned in the previous announcements, is that you're tackling what we directly covered in class. That's what I'm looking for. And the citations should show that. So, AI is not going to be able to help you do that. Okay, I can tell if I'm reading your essay, I know what I'm covering in the class. I've been teaching this class for over a decade. Okay, so all of my classes. So you're going to write something, and then you're going to have a citation at the end of each paragraph. I mean, after each paraphrase, which means in your own words, or a direct quote. Now, some of you might get confused on this a little bit still. Keep in mind, just think about it this way. If you're only writing this material because you watched a video and now you know about this material, then you can put in your own words, and then you just put in, you just at the end you put the citation saying Pollock video number, video 3, or Ivan the Terrible documentary, or you could put online textbook. You can even put the online textbook and give me the page number. Okay, so I don't need a works cited page at the bottom. And what I mentioned is that, look, there's different citation methods for every kind of field in university life. I'm not making you use a specific type. If you're transferring to a UC or even a CSU and you're a history major, you'd have to use Chicago-style citation method. If you are going to be a psych major, you're going to use a different citation method. The MLA one that you often use in a community college, you won't use for many of the majors that you're going to pick. So instead, I want to just get you in the habit of citing your work, which is important and fundamental in college, not to get accused of plagiarism. And what it means is sticking to the material that we covered in class, and AI is not going to help you with that. And in fact, it'll hurt you, because I'm going to tell that you're not using it, that you're not drawing from the sources that we covered, okay? So just keep that in mind. And if you have a hard time with writing and this part, then communicate with me, and I will, do what I can to help you out. I really want you to succeed. And, so yeah, just keep that in mind. Also, the video notes. I give an example of a few video notes in my previous announcement, but, okay, keep this in mind, you have to have video notes for every video. And I know there's a lot of videos. This might be the most challenging part of the class. And this is something that's important to keep in mind, that you don't wait till last minute to do all of them. But if you were in my summer course where I teach in person, like I just did with one of my classes, you would have still had to spend hours in the classroom. In other words, the amount of time that you're taking to watch the videos isn't going to be different than, it might even be a little less time spent than if you had to actually go to Modesto Junior College and go in person and sit and listen to me give these lectures in person. And these video notes are the only way that proves you actually watch them, because if you don't give me those video notes, you will not watch them, right? You guys understand what I'm saying? Okay, so those all have to be done. Don't wait last minute to do it. It's going to be much harder. And so just keep that in mind. Once you get this routine down, you're going to see that I'm very consistent. And, I have a lot of students tell me that once they get this rhythm down, it really is set up for their success. And I, generally speaking, have a lot of students that end the semester with some very high grade. But, whatever the case is going to be on your style of learning and, what's easier or not easier for you, just keep in mind that I'm a communicator and I'm helpful and I want you to succeed. And I understand being busy. Like I said, I'm going to be working in a physical labor kind of job, a totally different type. I'm working in a very non-academic setting here in Oregon. I also have a family life back home in Modesto, California. And so, my partner has a 5-year-old. My daughter, I had full-time up here with me, when I was a single dad. So I understand all of these different factors that take place. We have lives, and I'm going to be supportive and understand that this is your same kind of position for most of you. So just please keep that in mind, and know that I'm here to advocate on your behalf. But you need to make sure that you're doing your best to pay attention to the information that I'm putting out for you. Okay. So having said that, I hope you're all having a great start to your week. It's a 4th of July week is coming up here, and there's a lot going on. Anyways, here we are all working together, and we'll be in touch.